Oh, this is a blizzard, all right. It's really hard to walk. I have no clue where our dogs are, but even our ATV is barely moving, going at the same speed as myself. It will start getting dark in about 2 hours. And it's still 50 kilometers to go. This is brutal, guys. People, today I'll show you how people live in the farthest region from Moscow. Here, 2 continents, Eurasia and North America, and 2 oceans, the Pacific and the Arctic Ocean, meet. The local temperature can drop as low as -50 Fahrenheit, and there are only 72 frost-free days a year. It means that the snow remains on the ground even in June. The permafrost can become such an issue that even coffins rise up from cemeteries every once in a while, because the permafrost simply pushes them out. Lots of small villages are cut off from civilization by channels, the Chukchi sea lagoons and marshy tundra. No roads exist there by definition. In the most distant villages, parents take their children to school by dog sled. I never would have thought that dogs can run for so long, but it turns out that dogs have incredible stamina. I mean, you can cover 200 kilometers a day by dog sled. This is unbelievable. Food supplies are delivered to some areas just once in an entire year. Fruits and vegetables are flown in once every 1 to 2 months. There are departments like this in local shops. Here's a bottle of ketchup, $2.40. This is how they priced it. It says here that the expiration date is 6 months from the date of manufacture. It was manufactured in 2017. 4 fucking years ago. Some prices for everyday food products make my eyes pop out. Tomatoes are $12.60 per kilogram. Packaged dill, pretty wilted if you ask me, but still hanging in there, costs $17.80. Can you imagine? No grass in the world costs that much. In some villages there are no running water and people melt ice. In other places, people have to cook using seawater, even in school, guys.
For cooking, we use tap water, the salt water.
You cook with salt water?
Of course. Yeah, you just put less salt when cooking.
People in this region may well be the strongest ones I've ever met. They love Chukotka with all their hearts, in spite of its harsh environment, both in terms of weather and social conditions. I'll be showing how people live in the most distant areas, where it's close to impossible to get to. No planes or helicopters, even dog sleds hardly get there. Mushers fall off cliffs, dog sleds go under the ice. Incredibly difficult. We will be dog sledding across the wild and cold tundra in order to get to the most distant villages in our country. This is Lyadov, and today we're in Chukotka.
Guys, you know, there's one thing I cannot live without in this new future when I travel around the world to different countries. So there is one thing which is must have, and this is VPN service. I just found a great VPN for myself and I want to share it with you. This is a fast and reliable Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN will keep you safe while you are online. It won't be possible to see what you're doing and where. Surfshark will give you access to all your favorite websites, streaming services and social media, even if they are blocked in your region. Why did I choose exactly Surfshark VPN? Firstly, it has many servers all over the world. You can easily travel virtually by getting access to foreign servers and services. You can watch Japanese Netflix or use Instagram and Facebook without any limitations. And you can avoid price discrimination and get the best shopping deals by using this VPN. Secondly, you can use one Surfshark VPN subscription on all of your devices. You can even share it with your family and friends. It also works on all the existing platforms. Thirdly, this VPN service is fast and secure, and it will keep you safe on public networks and Wi-Fi. With military-grade encryption, all your data is blurred, so anyone who sees this will not be able to read it. Why should you buy this VPN instead of using a free one? Yes, you can use a free VPN, but you should understand that in most cases, free VPNs have lower connection speed, also annoying ads, and what's more dangerous, they store your data and can transfer your data to the third parties. So this is why I really recommend you to get a paid subscription to this VPN server. What's more, Surfshark has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're not satisfied, Surfshark will bring your money back. And if you use this promo code, ThePeople83, you will get an 83% discount, and you will also get 3 extra months for free.
Damn, you're running fast. From a place called Lavrentia, which already seems to be on the edge of the world, we have to go over a frozen channel by dog sled, and then through the entire Chukotka Peninsula, 100 kilometers, to the last inhabited place on the edge of Russia called Yulen. Yulen means black patch in Chukchi. Beyond it, there's only the Bering Straits, Alaska and the USA. So this is how we're going to ride for the next 2 weeks, and not fall the fuck down. My cameraman has it even worse than me now. He's holding the camera with one hand and holding on with the other. Listen, I never would have thought that dogs can run for so long, but it turns out that dogs have incredible stamina. I mean, you can cover 200 kilometers a day by dog sled. This is unbelievable. They're even in the Guinness Book of Records. Wait! Actually, it's not the dogs that are listed in the Guinness Book of Records, but the Beringia race, which they compete in, as the longest sled dog race in the world. Over 2,000 kilometers over the snow of Chukotka and Kamchatka. These dogs are able to cover super long distances due to their breed's characteristics. Most of the times, it's a mix of two breeds. The Chukchi sled dog, they are well adapted to the severe Arctic climate. While on the move, their back and lower back bounce. Limbs go far forward, and because of that, they can go as fast as 30 kilometers an hour. Firm paw pads allow for a secure grip on the surface of the sea ice or the mountain tundra. The second breed is the Siberian Husky. Strong and fast dogs, genetically very close to grey wolves. The famous husky was called Balto. A monument in his name was erected in Central Park in New York. Together with 150 dogs, he rescued an entire city in the USA from a mass death of children. In 1925, in an Alaskan city, Nome, which is situated right across from the Yulin, where we're headed, a diphtheria epidemic broke out. This infection eats the skin away, and in the worst case, with no treatment, it leads to death within 2 or 3 days. Nome's doctors predicted 100% lethality to the population. The city got cut off from the rest of Alaska in the coldest winter in 20 years, with no planes flying in and no railroad in existence. The medicine had to be delivered by dog sled. 150 dogs were falling under the snow and into the channel and getting out over and over again. In 5.5 days, they got there. They covered over 1,000 kilometers and saved the city from the epidemic. Balto still remains a national hero in America. This story inspired the animated film Balto and Togo, starring Willem Dafoe. Dogs are incredibly friendly. Gosh, what a handsome guy. I'm a complete stranger. He's never seen me before in his life, and he comes to me just like that. They're so cute. You know, I can imagine how they live in these kennels. plywood kennels scattered for them all over the place, and in each kennel there's a heap of snow. A snow kingdom. Look at that. Handsome boy. I can't stand here without covering myself with a balaclava for even a minute, and they live here around the clock. And it's not like they're led outside just for now, and they'll be led inside into the warmth later. No, they live under the open sky all the time. From the time when they're puppies, they are trained for sledding, and gradually puppies become pack leaders. So the pack leader, they have to show themselves, meaning dogs are selected according to their leadership qualities, and the boldest and the fiercest always become the pack leader and leads the sleigh. It's extremely important, the dog's character. How do you drive the sled? Naga means forward. Podpod means turn right. Kk means turn left. That's it. Ritak means stop. Got that? Podpod, right, kk, left. Before we set out, we received training from an experienced musher. My name is Kolyanto. What does it mean? This is my name, surname, and patronymic. This is how my granddad named me. It refers to a place where I came from, the evil spirits. So it translates as, yes, the place of the evil spirits. Chances of a child's survival were 1 in 10, and I got this name so that the evil spirits wouldn't touch me. Kolyanto belongs to the indigenous people of Chukotka, the Chukchi. I was born in a reindeer herder's tent in winter. There was no calendar, so I don't know the exact date. Really? Yes, I was born in winter. 1951, 1952. When do you celebrate your birthday then? I've asked my friend. He works in the passport agent to make it 21st. When I studied in Khabarovsk, at the building facility, I received my monthly bursary on the 21st. Really? Yeah. Amazing, you were born right in the Yaranga. Yes, right in the Yaranga. Can you tell us what it's like? The household? What was it like to live there? This was the happiest time of my life. Really? Sure, the Yaranga may have been full of holes and everything, but we had everything. I was loved, and I loved all of them. From an outside perspective, it may seem that the dogs are being tortured, running such long distances, but it seems that way before you get immersed into the mindset of the local, for them, dogs are actually family members. So that I wouldn't get scared before leaving home, or in a Yaranga alone, a dog was always left with me. My favourite one was Kenny. That was his name. He was the pack leader. You wouldn't get scared if there was a dog by you. Of course not. You're best friends during these times, huh? Yes. Yes. There was this one time in my childhood. My grandmother went to the neighbours and took me with her. I was still crawling in a coverall, and she got carried away talking. And in a cold corridor in the Yaranga, a dog gave birth. I crawled up to her while Grandma was talking and started sucking her milk together with the pups. Kayas, or mushers in their turn, take care of them to the best of their abilities. For example, they share meat during passage. Whoa, bumps like this are one of the toughest. You don't just get what's going on. We're about to cover at least 200 kilometers like this. Before we reach the most distant settlement in Russia, we would have to get to the starting point on the coast of Chukotka. Given the absence of roads altogether, this would be one whole adventure. The conditions of the far north are so severe that right in the middle of the tundra, the so-called balkis are scattered here and there. They are these wagons which look abandoned on first sight, but are actually shelters which can be used by anyone who's lost in a blizzard, just someone who gets tired. This is a sort of helping hand. Without it, it would be really hard to survive in Chukotka, or anywhere else for that matter. It was news to me that a trip to Chukotka takes as much time as a trip from Moscow to America. Seriously. First off, it's nearly 9 hours away by plane, almost as far as New York. Now I'm getting off the plane, but I'm not even in the city yet. So it was 9 hours by plane, and still not far enough. The city is on the complete other side. The thing is that the airport in Chukotka's main city, Anadyr, was not meant for the locals. It was built for the military. It's around a 1-hour flight from America. It was here that the nuclear warheads were meant to be installed on the warplanes which would carry them over Alaska during the Cold War. I've done an entire episode about a secret USSR mountain where these warheads were stored. Back to the airport. It is situated across a channel from the city, and in order to cross it, you effectively have to buy another plane ticket. In autumn, when the ice is not yet settled, you have to take a helicopter. It costs $63.50, and there's not much chance you'll get a seat. In summer, you can take a boat for $40 or a hovercraft. Alternatively, you can take a Kamchatka motorboat, which you need to get to by bus for $4. In winter, you can cross the channel on the ice, preferably by ATV. When you go out of the airport in Anadyr, you find yourself at a parking lot next to the airport. This is what it looks like, you see? No regular cars. Trekols only. This is how these cars are called. One wheel is the size of about half my height, because these are the exact cars used. Look here, even a police car is a trekol. Shit, look at those gigantic wheels. The thing about these cars is that they use low pressure tyres. See, I can even push the tyre in. So when they move on the ice, they don't press on it too much and don't break it. That's why it's safe to ride them. The only way to get to the city is to hire this kind of taxi. The taxi looked like it crossed over from Need for Speed. Look here, the dude just pimped up a regular Niva. Simply hooked 1.5 meter high wheels on it. Awesome car, looks very impressive. And people strike deals with taxi drivers just like these. But a taxi ride costs insane money. You'd pay $48 to $63 to get to the city from the airport. The road looks like a corridor between 2 meter high snow walls. We got off the paved highway and continued across the channel through heaps of snow. The metal thingy on the left is not a bridge. It was built so that it would be easier to load coal onto the boats in summer. In order to get people on board easier, there's nothing built yet. The rule says here that it is forbidden to exit during blizzard or fog. This is quite difficult to follow, for blizzard or fog happens approximately every day. These orange sticks mark the zones where, well, here for example, a tractor fell under. And this zone marked for another driver not to take unnecessary risks. It seems like there's a party place ahead, as if people came together to chat, smoke some hookah, but actually they're stuck. Here a handmade ATV came to pull a gazelle out. Here's someone carrying a rope to tow a friend. Here's a man shoveling his car out. No one leaves home without a shovel here. Here, look, a whole tractor got stuck. A military ATV with treads comes to the rescue. Have a look here, a tractor got stuck. Its 2 wheels just went under the snow. Poor guy, he's spinning his wheels already, several dozens of minutes maybe. He's stuck alright, and doesn't seem to be able to do anything about it. And stuff like this happens all around. Look further, an entire car, a military car, tries to pull out another car. This is insane. Seems like it's kind of a survival game of some sort here. That's what it looks like. Damn, you stay outside for like 15. My camera died outside in the cold. iPhone's battery dies in 10 minutes in such temperature. Hands start to ache in 5 minutes. When they met us, the locals said that we were lucky that it's only minus 20 Fahrenheit outside in March. Winter, it was minus 50. Look, you go around the city, and here's what looks like a regular parking lot. Do you hear? The car is started, and there's no one inside. The next one, same thing. It's started, and no one inside. No one ever turns the cars off here. Because it's okay here. The reason being, if you turn it off and pop into a shop, that's it. the car battery will not let you start it the next time. So people who come here don't ever turn off their cars during the day. This is amazing. The whole entirety of Chukotka is permafrost. This means that the soil doesn't thaw out even in July and August for years, decades, hundreds of years actually. If you look closely, you'll see that almost all houses are built here on pilings. Here they are, special pilings sticking from the ground because of the permafrost. These pilings are first rammed into the permafrost, and then houses are built on top of them. Moreover, look how the pilings are separated by a cage of sorts for safety, so that no one would crawl under them or damage the pilings or something. The permafrost can become such an issue that even coffins rise up in cemeteries once in a while, because the permafrost simply pushes them out. And bears sometimes roam about, dig up the graves and eat what's in them. Here it is. Things are brutal around here. To start a car after a frosty night, people plug special heaters to the cars. They require a power outlet, so the inventive locals throw an extension cable out of a window for the night. You'd never believe what this red thingy is. This building, fully covered with panel siding, resembles a sort of bunker. It's a hotel. The central hotel called Anadir, also built on pilings. It differs from many other hotels. For example, there's no Wi-Fi anywhere in Anadir. You go in, you ask the staff about it, and they sort of already... People from other places of the earth usually come to the hotel, and the staff are already sick and tired of this question. They feel sort of embarrassed, and they say that civilization hasn't yet reached Anadir. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere whatsoever. The internet is a really huge problem in Chukotka. You can only use mobile data only, and only in particular places in the city. It suffices for messenger apps, and that's good enough, but all markets moved from the -3 frost to WhatsApp. Fish, venison, you can find anything on there, though fruits and vegetables are a bit of an issue. Guys, I've never seen prices like this in any country or city anywhere in the world. Regular tomatoes are $12.50 per kilogram. And just look at this little tomato. Not exactly the freshest. Let's put it that way. And they're all like this. Take the bell pepper, $16 per kilogram. And if you look at this bell pepper, a little past its prime, to say the least. Although it is in stock, which is pretty good. Next, garlic. $20 per kilogram is the price of garlic. Here's an avocado, $20 per kilogram. Regular green apples, which we see every day, are $11 per kilogram. Pears, $14 per kilogram. Lemon, ordinary lemon, costs $13 per kilogram. Frankly, I'd learn to grow lemons at home if I had to buy them at these prices. This is even not the craziest thing. Dill, packaged dill, pretty wilted if you ask me, but still hanging in there, costs $17.80. Can you imagine? No grass in the world costs that much. Plum costs $17.50 per kilogram. Here is an ordinary pensioner in Chukotka.
If we buy one cucumber, we will eat it for 2 days, right? Then in 2 days, we'll come again and get a tomato. So we don't buy kilograms.
Not all prices are as high as this. You can find potatoes for $1.50 per kilogram, carrots for $1 per kilogram. A loaf of bread costs yet again the cosmic price of $1 to $2. A small Pepsi bottle, $2. But all of this pales in the face of what happens in distant settlements. Here, for example, a settlement 600 kilometers away from Anadir with a population of 1,200. This is what a village shop looks like. You know, one large container with, curiously enough, grates on the windows. This makes sense since the food prices are beyond belief here. The security requirement of a shop could be compared to that of a bank or a branch back home. This is why the grate is firmly wedged to all windows around the perimeter. Just look at this door. Have you ever seen a door to a shop like this? A huge bulletproof door, an extra lock. It feels like you enter a bunker of some kind. Such a heavy door, no enemy shall pass. Around half of the shelves are empty, if not more. When somebody noticed us filming, they said they'd just had an inspection. I don't know whether it's true or not. There's some meat left in the fridge, lots of alcohol on the shelves, a TV set for $700. Here in Lavrentia, you realise that you really are very, very far away, because it's not even the prices that strike you. Mind you, on the counter there's some apples with cut-offs and stuff. This is usually done to rotten apples in order to cut off the rotten bits. And those apples over there, the frozen one, sorry, not the frozen ones, the marked down ones, how much are they?
$1.06 per kilogram.
Do people buy them?
Yes.
Ordinary apples in that particular shop, in that particular moment, were $2.50 per kilogram. Sergei lives here his entire life. His surname sounds more like a piece of art, Elettra Lincoln. I work as a security guard at a kindergarten. Really? Yes, in summer I jog and do rowing. What about the food products? Sometimes they lack freshness, for instance. Not enough eggs, freshness, things like that. Is there an issue with the eggs too? Yes, they are rarely in stock. Yes? How much are they? Sometimes $2 or $3 per dozen. Sometimes $3. Different prices in different shops. In Blygyakin, the price is $4. Sometimes eggs are supplied and they sell them for $4. When was the last time you personally had eggs? A long time ago. The last time was 2 or 3 months ago, when I went to Turgovsk. They had eggs there. You haven't eaten eggs since then? No. The fact that there are no eggs here doesn't at all mean that this is some underdeveloped city. Hell no. So you get the picture. Here you are. You can buy a hoverboard here. Without a doubt, it has to be a #1 priority in snow-covered Lavrentia. Fashionistas will also find something for themselves. The New Balance sneakers. Also, for the coolest dudes here, pink Balenciagas. Awesome things. They cost $238, by the way. What's the salary like? Every month I get $238 or around $300 in semi-monthly payments. And that's it. Sometimes I get a bonus, sometimes, and that's it. Is it enough for you? Yes, that's quite enough for me. I live alone with my mum. Any suggestions how much a watermelon may cost here? Here's another distant village. Watermelons come here once a year.
When we get watermelons here, each family can get just one. We take photos with it as if it's I don't know what. And when you go to the mainland, you boast, look, we've got a watermelon.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have a picture with a watermelon too?
Yes, but I'll have to search for it. On my birthday in October, I kept it until October. We were celebrating, the guests were eating, and I was like, now the main treat, the watermelon.
You understand, this woman bought a watermelon in summer and kept it safe until autumn to eat it instead of cake. You kept it from August till October?
In the dark, but it's still rotted in some places.
Wow, and I guess the price was impressive too.
$10 per kilo, I think. Multiply it by 9, or by 10.
After this, insane prices for eggs seem like nothing. When I was in Chukotka, it was March 2021. Egg shortages were officially recorded here.
There are no eggs now. They cost around $6 a dozen. It depends. It's $4.05 in some places. In a more distant settlement, it's $5.05 in Markovo, around $16, at least $14 a dozen.
Eggs for $16?
Yes.
There's a local poultry farm in Anadyr, and according to the official claims, it produces 11,000 eggs per day. If so, then every person here should get an egg at least every 5 days, given that the entire population here is 50,000 people. Is it a lot? Have a look here. The territory of Chukotka could fit 2 UKs with a population of 66 million people each, or 4 Belgiums, leaving some room for 3 Denmarks. Technically, there are 3 cities in Chukotka, 2 of which have a population of less than 5,000 people. A big problem in Chukotka is that there is effectively no connection between cities. People can live their whole lives in some small village and never leave it. Because not unlike South Sudan, there are no roads, you know? You can reach some settlements only in winter, on Zimniks. Zimnik is a road which is laid across a frozen river or a frozen sea or something like that. During other times, there's no way in there. Often the only means of transportation between the cities are planes. The problem is it's incredibly expensive. One ticket can cost hundreds of dollars, and a person, when they get the free time, a vacation for example, doesn't understand why the fuck they have to spend all that money to get to, say, Pevek. They'd be better going off to Thailand and bask in the sunshine there, and then go back home. So that's why people don't really explore their own region. This is quite a common case. Another issue is the weather, which can delay your flight not only for an hour or two, but for a day or two, or maybe even a week. And another thing, even these insanely pricey flights are scheduled very rarely. Our flight has been delayed for 2 hours. I took off my shoes because it's impossible to stay inside wearing boots that are meant for minus 100. A 2-hour flight delay is a piece of cake for Chukotka. Here I have the timetable. So that you get an idea of what it's like to fly around Chukotka, here's me explaining. The situation when you need a flight at 2 PM or 3 PM doesn't work here. No. There are settlements where a plane can fly once a month. You can fly to Neshkom on 2 occasions, the 28th of May and the 27th of August. That's it. In total, planes and helicopters fly around 30 settlements in Chukotka, and to the other tens of settlements, they just don't. So if people really need to get to places, they somehow have to get to the nearest city with an airstrip by car, horse and buggy. Dog sled, across the rainbow, by air somehow, by catapults, I have no idea how, and then wait for the single plane and go. This is the standard for Chukotka. While I was exploring the airport, or rather the posters which for some reason aggressively talk people out of their terroristic desires, why is that? Really, they're all over the place. Our flight got delayed for only 2 hours to be fair. The next flight to Lavrentia, where the dog sledding should start off, got delayed for 24 hours. No conditions in Lavrentia on the airstrip. Very strong wind, over 20 kilometers per hour. We're rescheduling for tomorrow. Let's hope for the best, since tomorrow's forecast is better than today's. You mean it's not certain whether we fly out tomorrow? It's never certain here with flights. In Chukotka, you can only guess that things would be this way or another. There's no promising in advance. Hopefully, tomorrow's forecast is better. What should we expect? What's the route like? This will be a very difficult route. 93 kilometers to be covered across the tundra, with dogs on top of it. So seriously, a difficult route, no kidding. Of course, not for tourists at all. For us, it's regular. Don't know how well you'll handle it. What are the main difficulties? The main difficulty above all is that the crust is very soft. What's the crust? The snow crust. The upper part of the snow layer. Yes, and under it lies a layer of the fluffy stuff. So the dogs would probably have to work extra hard there. Will they fall into the snow? Of course. We'll see when we're there. Now we'll be going across the channel. We'll see how things are there. When we'll be sledding, is there a trail or a road of some kind? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're going into the wild tundra then? Yes, just going into the absolute tundra. And what should we do? What kind of emergencies are possible? Could happen? First, it's our unpredictable weather. At the moment, the sun is shining, and in 40 minutes or an hour, the wind can start to blow real nice. What's the most dangerous weather? The south blizzard is the most dangerous. Does this happen? Of course. Plus it's March. On the 1st of April, deers should have their fawns. What happens when a southern blizzard comes? What happens? Can you imagine getting wet now? And in the evening the temperature would drop to minus 30. That's it. Totally screwed. Vladimir has a beautiful surname, Inyokevon. Sounds like Hey, don't tell me what to do in Russian. He will go with us behind the wheel of his beast car. Just so you know, cars like Mercedes, BMW or some other bullshit like Lamborghini just don't count here in Chukotka. The hottest rides here are these ATVs. This one is a very cool ATV. Check out the fancy mechanism on this one. The tyres have low pressure, as usual, and this thingy here adds spins to the wheels. Thus it increases the car's passability. This is very, very cool. What was the hardest, most extreme, awful case in your life? It was when I stayed in the snow for 3 days in February. We were coming from Providenia, going to Kaluskino, and a strong southern wind caught us. The ATV stopped, the carburetors got clogged with snow, and we had to stay in the snow for 3 days. Wow. Good that we were dressed in the national clothes. In furs? Yes. So you wore an anorak and a fur on top of it. No, we had Kialka with fur on the inside. Ah, fur inside. And top of it, one more, with fur on the outside. Same thing with pants. I just simply had to dig a hole for myself and sit in it, cover myself with snow and arrange it. Made a small kind of cave and sat there. Vladimir got us to the start point with the dogs. Our aim is to cross the channel by dog sled before sunset in order to get to the shelter. Today, we have to cover as many kilometers as possible, which is barely possible, for the sun has almost set. Tomorrow we'll have to go on an unbelievable route. Tomorrow we'll have to cover almost 100 kilometers. Even for professional and experienced mushers, it's pretty excessive. Now it's time to get trained and learn what to do, how to drive these sleighs. The right word for the sleighs is narti. However, mushers have their own vernacular. During passages, mushers can often switch to the Chukchi dialect. Anton, let's go. Hello? Let's go. Dmitry also has an awesome surname, Kolyavukvun. He surely belongs to the silver screen. Here's our dog sleds. This one is mine. I'll go first. You'll go behind me on the second sled. So we'll not ride standing up, we're going to sit down. Sitting down. If you ordered a standing one, I would have brought the standing one. Everything I learned while training has just gone to shit. Turns out we're riding the sled sitting down, and this way, the driving technique is completely different. At start, you sit down. Here's your brake. You remove the brake and set it here. Before you set off, the talon is here. You take the talon out right before you start, and that's it. After that, you follow me straight on. Make sure you stay directly behind me. We'll be rushing ahead for the first kilometer. Use the brake. Today, they will rush ahead, and tomorrow they'll get tired after about 90 kilometers. And then we'll go smoothly. You'll even be able to slow the sleigh down with a finger. You'll see. First things first, let's meet the dogs. It's very important that I don't get scared and they don't try and bite me. Here is Kari, Belka, Shaker. Can you show me the pack leader? Both of them are. Both of them are pack leaders. This one pulls forward, she's the puller. And this one thinks more, Belka. And this is Shaker. So this dog is the smartest one out of all of them. She turns your sled right and left, and this one is the puller. She pulls it forwards. What does a puller mean? The one with the most strength and stamina, the hardiest one. So Belka understands commands. Yeah, she understands commands. She looks so small. And this one? This one is tiny. How can she be the hardiest one? Yeah, they're funny like that. They're sort of explosive, aren't they? It seems to me that these dogs look more robust. The back ones, yeah, they're very strong. They will pull you nicely. Then why the stronger ones are behind? Because they'll shut down. Shut down? Yeah, they'll get tired, you see. They won't pull that much after a while. The configuration of a dog sled is very well thought through. The biggest dogs are usually put in the middle and in the back. They are strong but young. They don't reckon their abilities. If you put them in the front, they'll quickly fizzle out. 2 pack leaders lead a dog sled. One of them, the strongest and hardiest one, is a puller. The other one can easily be weak and small. It doesn't need the muscle, it uses its head, following the musher's commands. Each dog wears orange socks. If one dog gets a cut and starts limping, the entire dog sled will wobble to one side. Let's go. Shit, you're running fast. The only control panel for this thing is this huge club, a detura. This is the only shit that I can do, slowing down the dog sled. Other than that, there's absolutely nothing. Damn, this is a very low comfort thing. Now the dogs are at their fastest. They've just started the route and they rush ahead. They were standing for a long time. They are full and eager to run. These dogs love to run, and that's why they start barking at each other when the second dog sled catches up to them, like in the Balto movie. This is an actual nightmare. I can't imagine how we're going to cover 100 kilometers like this. To be honest, I'm already losing my fucking mind. As soon as the dog sleds come alongside, the dogs start barking at each other. At moments like this, the mushers leap up from their sleighs and run to pull them to different sides. The dogs can bite each other really badly. The spirit of competition is in the dog's blood. Look, the second dog sled is trying to catch up with us, but my guys are so pushy, they're not letting anyone pass. The dog sleds are structured in a very clever way. My hook flew off. Shit! Why the dogs are running in different directions? What's going on? Some strange dog joined us and it irritates my dogs. This has to be the most extreme means of transportation, to tell you the truth. Damn, my dogs are like Mike Tyson. Or actually Michael Phelps's. They don't let anyone ahead of us. The most brutal thing is to sit without moving, because in -20 at speed, the wind pierces even through layers of windproof clothes. On our way, we first see some rusted abandoned cars, houses, ruins, but barely half an hour passes by and the endless tundra opens up with no sign of civilization. Stunning. The camera's batteries died 15 minutes after we set off. What's your take? How do we do on those first 10 kilometers? Brilliant. I'd give it a C-. Why? It could have been better, if the musher was any good. I do agree. They've got a beefy guy for a musher. Yeah, no, not beefy, just not professional. To be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just flopped on the sleigh like a sack of potato. Well, they'll knock you over a couple of times and you'll learn the lesson. No lying down, no spitting, no nose picking. All eyes on the dogs. Basically, we've covered 10 kilometers, and I'd like to tell you that this is far from a bright picture I had in my mind. This is very, very hard and very cold. You sit and you don't move at all. Well, just slightly to the left and to the right. I have boots for -100 and my toes still froze. I'm telling you, because of the strong wind, and it's endless. The dogs are a little tired, but not too much. They got their breath back pretty quickly. Some of them are licking their wounds. All in all, the dogs are feeling just fine. The mushers ride with no masks and balaclavas. That's why their hair and moustaches are all covered in snow. Big iron rods are hammered with an axe into the ground in order to tie the dog. Before cooking dinner for themselves, the mushers feed the dogs. We'll cook some broth now. The host has prepared the firewood, I think. We'll ask for some wood, cook some broth and feed it to the dogs, so that tomorrow they'd eat less snow on the way. The broth will nourish them. We'll also give them half a sack of meat, good walrus meat. On the whole though, there's not too much affection in their treatment. You don't talk to them. Why? They don't deserve it yet. Holy fucking shit. Permafrost. This is a wooden hut, effectively. As soon as you step in here, it's a mindfuck. Just look at this up here. Fucking stalactites and stalagmites growing all around. And it's like that all over. Look. This wasn't me. This is a kind of place where you come for night shelter. Here's a door so frozen up that it looks like the entrance to Narnia or something. Jesus, it's a map. Shit. I have a feeling that this place stayed exactly the same since the day it was opened. By the way, this area was discovered by James Cook in 17-something. And straight ahead there's a room all frozen over. The one considered to be the warmest room in this place. Here we're going to live happily ever after. Before we start eating, we must feed the spirits. In Chukotka, shamanism is a legally accepted and practiced religion. We must take a little piece from every food product on the table, pour a shot of alcohol and go outside. Go ahead and throw it all around. Over there. That's it. Now, make a wish. To a kind day. A good sign. Soon the polar lights appeared in the sky. The beauty of it is hard to describe. Now I'm about to eat deer brains. This is a local delicacy. This is the local version of the Snickers bar or something. This is how the brains look. At a quick glance, it looks like a bunch of little worms. I've been instructed on how to eat this. You should quickly stick a finger inside, take it out and stick it in your mouth. I hate this segment. Here we go. To be honest, the thought of sticking a finger into, oh god, a deer's brain scares me. It had some thoughts, some plans, and I'm about to wind it around my finger. This is... God, such a tender texture. God, it's so... I don't know what to compare it to. As if you stuck a finger in your mouth, so soft all around. I need to do it quick. God. And interestingly, it tears so easily. Maybe the deer didn't think much. And another thing, it slips from your fingers. Gross. This is a piece of deer brains. I'm now going to eat it. Sorry, my dear. I've never held anything against deer. I hope that you only had good thoughts and you don't hold a grudge against me, who's going to eat you now. All right. To tell you the truth, notwithstanding the fact that these are deer brains, it's kind of delicious. Such tender texture. It reminds me of oysters a little, but fat oysters. Usually you throw the oyster in your mouth and the next second you've already swallowed it. It flies by your mouth, no problem. And here we have a fat oyster, fattened up nice and good. Very soft texture. Lightly salted, delicious. Really very good. If I didn't know that it was brains, I'd eat it all the time. I mean, there you are, fellas. These are the survival conditions in the tundra, where you can find no stores with candy or cookies anywhere for hundreds of kilometers. The only source of food for the locals are deer, which they breed, walruses, and, attention, whales. It's all covered in snow now, but in summer, entire settlements hunt whales. International animal rights organisations demand a stop to whaling on a regular basis. Officially, it is banned worldwide, except in special cases when the survival of a local population depends on the whale meat. This is why whaling takes place in Japan, Canada, Norway, Greenland, which belongs to Denmark, and the indigenous people of Alaska also hunt whales in the USA. The thing is that in the farthest settlements from civilization, people depend on hunting, and they won't survive without the whale meat. When the first whale is caught and pulled out, it goes to the people first, meaning the poor, the elderly. They all come, and in the end, there's only a small piece left for the hunter. All people learn about it and come with knives, bags, buckets. Everyone cuts off as much as they want. No regulation, no control. The word is passed around by itself. No one posts anything on the internet. You know how it is here with the internet. People simply realize that they've run out, and the hunters get this information, that it's time. Catching a whale is nothing like fishing. This requires an entire profession. The skill is passed down through the generations, and these hunters are called whalers. Before going to sea, the whalers, attention, listen to the whales' conversations. Can you believe it? Our Vladimir, who is now the ATV driver, has been hunting whales for many years together with his commune. I've taught the people to place a small chalk on the seashore and listen to the whales' echo, how they talk between themselves. Just a piece of wood, and you put your ear to it, and you hear how they talk. Seriously? Yeah, seriously. In the old days, they used a pedal. Put a pedal up and you put your ear to it and start rotating the pedal to find where the whale is. There you come closer, stop, put the pedal again. Here it is, very close. Wow, just wow. This is really amazing. Also, there's an entire code of conduct. You can't kill little whales, children. If a whale couple is swimming together, a boy and a girl, you can't kill them either. When the right one is found, here's when the real battle begins. A whale can fight back all right. Vladimir and his pals were once dragged underwater together with their boat. The only thing I remember is that boom, and our boat is going down. Some guys came and pulled us out by our hair. It re-emerged later because the whale swam up. The guys rushed to us, cut the halyard, threw us into the boat and headed towards the shore. And then I realized it was our bad. You can never lose focus when handling a whale. So a whale can drag you underwater. Why not? There was this one time in Neshkom when the whale broke the helmsman's skull. The grey whale is considered to be a devil whale in Alaska. It can dive under the boat, start up a fight, and it can be a real something. Really? Yes, it's a very aggressive whale. If you hurt it, it goes berserk. When they harpooned the whale, they got too close and it cut the boat in half and broke the helmsman's base of the skull with its tail. You won't believe it, but in the old days, the indigenous people had a code of conduct which allowed the whale to win. In more severe times, in the case of Chukchi ending up overboard, they weren't saved by their friends. Their friends parted with them. Otherwise, it would be considered unsportsmanlike or wrong. If the sea spirits took someone, that's the end of it. It was all very samurai back then. Actually, notwithstanding these wild conditions that they live in, the Chukchi are an incredibly wise, strong, and proud people. Their ancestors lived in Chukotka for many ages before Russia was even established as a state, and for hundreds of years they didn't submit to any rule. When traveller Semyon Dezhnev came here, the government tried to subjugate the Chukchi tribe. Tribute was extracted for them, and new rules imposed. At first, they just avoided paying, and then began to attack the collectors of tribute. Military officers were sent there. They burnt local Urangas, stole thousands of deer, and killed the rebels. The cruelest officer was named Pavlutsky. He didn't show any mercy. One legend said that he once sent 28 cartfuls of hats of the killed Chukchis to the Tsar. The battle on the Orlova River set things straight. Chukchis ambushed one detachment and took that very Pavlutsky prisoner. They hit him with lances, but only got his iron breastplate. Then Pavlutsky took it off himself, and the locals took revenge on him. Eventually, the Chukchi were not conquered for several hundred years more. However, the USSR would eventually subdue them. Look what's happening now. We're approaching our intermediate point, the Sireniki Settlement. It's an Inuit village. There's only 3 of them in Chukotka. We've descended a little and you can see pretty dense fog down there, so the pilots start to ascend back. It might surprise you that there's around 50 inhabited settlements in Chukotka in total. Meanwhile, it's impossible to get to some places even by air because there are no flights there. To other places, a plane or a helicopter is supposed to fly at least once every few months. Accent on the supposed to. We're lucky that no one else is with us on this helicopter to Sireniki. You know why? Because if they were, we would land, notwithstanding the fog, and then we would have to wait for the moment to fly out for fuck knows how long. Because planes can't fly out in this fog. Moreover, at the end of our helicopter there are boxes. It's mail which had to be delivered in that very Sireniki. And now it's going back. And God knows when it will get there. It's so beautiful outside, as if no civilization exists at all. Mind you, the draft from the door hits right here. There's some big damn gap there. No flight attendant is passing, because there's no place for them to pass anywhere. No one can pass anywhere in here. There are no toilets, not even a hint of any food. We'd just love to get to the destination. It smells of gasoline a little, and sometimes more than a little. The important thing is that we're flying, and thank God for that. The arrow on the height sensor drops down. We land in a settlement in the middle of the tundra. It's called Yenerikanot. The stop is not final. We're going to stay here for only about 10 minutes. A woman with frostbite is carried into the helicopter first thing. Marina is her name.
I fell asleep last night and got cold. I got tired of walking.
Where did you fall asleep?
Right outside the settlement. I had to walk only for a little bit more and I didn't notice how I fell asleep.
You fell asleep right in the street?
Yes.
You couldn't walk any further?
No, someone was walking there. It was night around 2 a.m. and they must have lifted me up.
She'll be in hospital in an hour, but a helicopter comes here twice a month. What will the next person with frostbite do? The situation with doctors here is similar to that with teachers. Teachers work in primary schools only. High school students are usually sent by helicopter to another settlement, called Leningrad, and now a heat pipeline broke there. This is the chief, Artur Apalyu. There's no teachers really. But we have students can get back. Because this is the system we have here. What kind of teachers do they need? Those who teach in forms 6 and 7. What subjects are they falling short of? Or all of them? All of them. One more issue here is water. It's supposed to be delivered to houses by cars, by one car to be precise. There's one single tractor that cleans the roads. When it broke down and the snow piled up, there was no one to clean the roads. People managed the way they could. Someone was shoveling snow, someone was delivering water, someone had some equipment. People helped each other. That's the way they survive here. There's no water supply system, is there? No, of course not. Where do you get the water from usually? There's a lagoon with fresh water. This is where the water is delivered from. So you don't have water because the tractor broke down. That's right. And there's only one tractor in the entire village. Yes, one tractor and one car which delivers the water. Did it break down too? No, it was okay. Just couldn't ride out. Water is an issue for many distant settlements, and it should be tackled comprehensively. For example, during Abramovich's time, those who didn't know, Roman Abramovich, Chukotka's governor for 7 years. In the Konchalan village, awesome school was built. They even had their own green screen. The school looks as if it came out of a TV show about American high school students. Take this design, for example. Here are the pads so that this spot wouldn't get too worn out. It feels like a bunch of cheerleaders will run past to some baseball game or something. The lavatory is done just great. Here are blocks of shower stalls, and everything looks very decent. Let's not forget, however, that this school is situated on the territory of Russia, and so you know, salt water is running from taps here. You can even taste it. In showers, there's also salt water. What's more, salt water is even used for cooking in the school cafeteria.
Around January, February, salt water is supplied into taps, and we cook soups and porridges with this water only. We get fresh water by crushing ice or from special tanks. Fresh water is collected there in advance and gets delivered to us.
What do you use this water for?
For tea, fruit drinks, other drink.
And you cook soup with seawater?
Yes. We add less salt in the food.
This is the result of the tides of the Bering Sea pouring into the river, which the settlement stands upon. But the salt water is not the craziest thing. The thing is that the waste from the toilet also dumped into that river. In theory, it flows downwards and should wash all of the poo-poo out into the Bering Straits. However, occasionally, the tide happens to turn, and the river begins to flow backwards, sending all that jazz back up into the river where people take their drinking water from. Apparently, the solution of the water supply system issue would cost more than building a school, so things stay as they are. Here's a situation which reflects our entire country. In the Lavrentia settlement, the water pipe froze over, and you cannot go to the toilet anywhere. Not in a cafe or cafeteria, the entire plumbing system froze over. There's one building, the cultural centre, so to speak, the state budgetary institution. Let's pop in there. Guys, may we please use your toilet? No, why not? Because it doesn't work. See? There's even a note that says out of service. Everything's frozen over in there too. So the only places left where the toilet works is the administration building. Let's try and get in. Hello? Hello, do you have an appointment? With the toilet? You can't come in here to go to the toilet. The security officer is a man of responsibility, but not without kindness. What an idea. What if I was walking around the city and went to the toilet to the administration building? I'd rather go outside than ever go into an administration building. Go on then. Thank you. Stay away from the cameras. We have orders to let people into the toilets only if they come for work appointments here. I see. Go on. You know this situation and this decent man reflect our entire country. Better go around the corner than ask to go to the toilet in a government building. And I think it should be the complete opposite. All government buildings were built for one single reason, for people to have a normal life. If this normal isn't happening, then all toilets and offices of the public servants should get opened until whatever issue is resolved. But we don't consider ourselves to be a top priority for some reason. Just listen to my conversation with the local man working. His name's Oleg, and he's a stoker. He's got a black eye somewhere, and during the interview he's carefully covering it with his hand. Do you regret that you were born here? That you ended up in this region? No, not even a little bit. Seriously? Yes, my brother is here, and my mum. Everyone's here. Would you like to leave? No, never wanted to. You go around the dilapidated Sireniki Settlement, which I made a separate episode about. You look around, and you can't believe your eyes. Houses in ruins, frozen 5-story buildings, a gas station which looks like local dudes hand-made it. By the way, the lid is taken off for a reason, so that the mechanism is ventilated and doesn't get clogged with snow. In general, it seems like the apocalypse has already come. However, you go ahead for another 10 minutes and you find yourself at a venue very much like in the center of Moscow. A cozy space, a professional coffee machine. Vitaly cooked it up. His family came here for just 5 years, but they've already stayed here for 7. I came here and there was nothing at all. No cafe, nothing. No entertainment. I wanted to do something more kids orientated, doing something fun for kids, more important than making money. It all came together and we decided to give it a try. Let's try it, let's. Then all hell broke loose. Where do you get coffee and cocktail syrups? What about sesame seeds for puff pockets? I remind you, there's nothing at all for hundreds of kilometers around. I talk to Moscow people. I ask them to send stuff via mail or Russian post. They say, don't any shipping companies deliver to you? I say no. The most popular question, is there a railroad? The only way to ship goods is by sea. Ships come into the bay from June to October only. The bay freezes over after that. This isn't the biggest issue. It takes 2 weeks for a ship to come from Vladivostok. It calls for a refrigerator so that food products don't go bad. One refrigerator costs $8,000. You need to buy it yourself, pay for its installation on the ship, and for the electric bill on the trip. Non-perishable goods cannot go into a refrigerator, so you need a container, which costs another $4,800.
Get the money off the ship, get the money on board, ship the money. It all comes down to money.
Get the goods off the ship, you mean?
Of course, unload it. Sure, there are cases when you order some goods and the supplier can't deliver it to your container, and you have to pay someone to deliver the goods. This is huge money. So if you count it, I'm not sure about the precise cost. It is around $4,800 to ship one container here. And it will cost another $80,000 to load it on board.
It takes inhuman effort to even renovate the space. You see the wallpaper with different kinds of bricks? Was it meant to be like this?
No, it wasn't. This is from the mainland. It was delivered manually. Can you imagine the overweight? And the white ones we saw in the local shop? I said that we'd better get them quick.
Cafe doesn't bring any profit. There's no $95,000 for a container and food supplies yet, but the supplies often come from the local shop. Here it is, the yellow one. Locals call it the titka, translated as the boob from Russian. Good that there's a good product range in the titka. Vitaly runs there every day on a snowmobile, tirelessly running back and forth. He's afraid to leave anyone with a coffee machine on their own. They bought it with grant money, and if it breaks down, the repair service will only come in several months. You inspire to be optimistic. Is that your strength of character, you think? I don't know, it just came together this way. I don't know. Do you have friends who think it's all in vain? Most of my friends think so. How do they explain it? What do they say to you? I'm not sure I can say this on camera. Things like you'll freeze your you-know-what there and stuff. There's no point, that kind of stuff. It's good here, and you can make money here too. Kind of stuff like that. I understand that you can make money there, but still you need to have connections, some help. I believe it's inevitable. There. Here you can do something on your own. It's more honest here. I think so, yes. To get a good job on the mainland, you have to have connections, get some help. You can't get anywhere on your own. And less fear, less competition here. It's not too concerned about competition. You should keep doing what you're doing. Here we are. They're already telling us to set off. Come on, let's roll. The start is most important because the dogs will now rush ahead like crazy. They're about to explode. Meanwhile, there are three things holding the dogs back. This club stuck inside, this anchor. Come here and have a look. And also a rope thrown over this barrel. Otherwise, it would be impossible to hold them back. They were sitting down for an entire night, and they want to run very much. I'll get help in releasing the rope. It's going to be the fastest stage now. Look, he's jumping on the spot. As soon as they see that some other dogs are already running, they go completely insane. Look what they're doing. They're just shifting me. All right, this is impossible. We should start off. Let's go. Yeah. 3, 2... In the next episode, I will show you what it's like to try and cover 100 kilometers a day by dog sled. Guess what? I fell down. I rode 10, maybe 20 kilometers. They are totally wild. Naturally, we had a late start and all hell broke loose. That very southern wind. It practically wraps all around you. And straight away, it is pretty wet. And straight away, the moisture hardens up on you. We'll go across the pass, and we'll find ourselves in the middle of an insane blizzard. I was outside for exactly 7 minutes, and my hand just froze off. I can't feel my fingers. Actually, I can feel my fingers, but I can't feel my fingertips. The nails start to hurt a lot. Drop into a reindeer herder's camp. They live right in the middle of the tundra in this tent, a Uranga. Isn't it cold here in a Uranga? It is cold in Uranga. We're used to it. And we'll go on search for one of the mushers who took a wrong turn. I think he ate after the passage. And you haven't seen him since? This was Lyadov and how people live. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel so as not to miss the next episode.